The Kennedy family did have a connection to the mob, but it wasn't what you thinking. What's up, everybody? It's your girl B Octavia, and I am back with another video. Welcome to my channel. If you do not know who I am, I'm from Washington, D.C., and I'm also an entrepreneur. All of my links will be down below, so make sure that you go check every link out. So, today will be Rumor Report, where I take several different rumors on the same topic, and I talk about them. I talk about the possibility of it being true. I talk about if there are any truths in it, if there are any lies, if there are things that don't make any sense, and we make our own conclusions. Now, and today we will be talking about the Kennedys' connection to the Mafia. Let's talk about this rumor of the Kennedys being connected to the mob. Now, speculation of the assassination of the Kennedy brothers remains decades later. People still have a lot of questions. There are a lot of unanswered questions. And there are a lot of conspiracies and rumors floating around still to this day. Even though men have been prosecuted for these assassinations in both cases, in some way, form, or fashion. When I say in some way prosecuted, I mean Lee Harvey Oswald, he was prosecuted in a way that he was apprehended, but you know, somebody wanted to play hero and killed him. So that's how life goes, you know. Unfortunately, he was not able to be prosecuted in the eyes of the law, but he was prosecuted right then and there, you know, executed, prosecuted, same thing. People still seem to think that the mob conspired to kill the Kennedy brothers. A lot of folks also seem to believe that the Mafia was connected and or involved with the Kennedys. What they believe is they were doing dealings together, the Kennedy brothers and the mob. The connection went sour, and that is when the mob made their final decision. So right now we will get into the truths of these rumors, right? The Kennedy family did have a connection to the mob, but it wasn't what you thinking. JFK and Robert's father, Joseph Kennedy, was connected and did dealings frequently with several made men. Joseph was a bootlegger way back when, smuggling alcohol during Prohibition. Joseph Kennedy and Rose Fitzgerald were parents to 9 children, one of their children becoming the 35th president of the United States, and they also birthed 2 prominent senators, which was Ted and Robert Kennedy. Due to Kennedy Sr.'s occupation, being in the bootlegging business, he made a very good living for his family. It was said very early on that that's why Chicago and the Mafia openly supported JFK running for president. They were well known for having ultimate control on the decision making in the labor unions in Chicago and business in overall Chicago. Whether that be bribing police officials, judges, etc., they was with it all to meet their goal. With JFK in office, the Mafia felt confident that they had a close connection to the White House. So although the connection was real, it wasn't necessarily with the Kennedy brothers, but more so with Kennedy Sr. And even that connection, to me, in my opinion, wasn't them making an agreement between the Mafia and Kennedy Sr. about what they wanted JFK to do once he was in office, if they were able to sway Chicago and the whole United States to vote for him. There was no agreement talked about where the Mafia can sway the decision of the whole United States. I guarantee you, if that was the case, Mr. Joseph P. Kennedy probably would have ended up dead first. You got to really think about it. JFK became the 35th president of the United States. And once in office, he and Robert Kennedy became an unstoppable duo. President of the United States and Attorney General. Their biggest agenda they had was cracking down on the Mafia and their influence on a major labor union. The Mafia's main man in enforcing control was Jimmy Hoffa. He was an American labor union leader and served as president from 1957 until 1971. Jimmy Hoffa was a very powerful man, and in a short amount of time with him in control, he was able to make the Teamsters labor union into the most powerful union in the country. Jimmy Hoffa was linked to the Mafia, and from the early years of him working for the Teamster labor union, he made a connection with them that lasted until his disappearance in 1975. He is believed to have been murdered by the mob themselves. A lot of people, even within the Mafia, or, ex-made men, or whatever you want to say, have came out and said their beliefs on the Mafia taking them out, how they did it, etc. But as far as I know, he has never been found, not even a piece, not even nothing, right? But he was legally declared dead in 1982, almost 10 years after his disappearance. So, it would be easy to think the Mafia had a motive, so they more than likely conspired with Lee Harvey Oswald and Sirhan, right? It's 2 or 3 things that makes me come to a certain conclusion about not only the Kennedy's connection to the Mafia, but the theory that the Mafia was involved. I honestly feel like the Mafia could be the last and least possible to have been involved. Let me lay this out for y'all. Number 1, JFK had more problems than the Mafia. I will dig deeper into this next week when I just talk about JFK specifically. But sleeping with married women can get you enemies. The Marilyn Monroe scandal and speculation about the White House being involved in her suicide probably caused some attention that the White House didn't want. They didn't want to be questioned, etc. That would be a big problem in JFK's life. No. Number 2, I don't believe the Mafia could sway the decision of the world. Even at the point where they were the strongest, it's no way to me that just a organization of some sort, even the most powerful, can sway the decision of billions of people. Not everybody liked the mob. Not everybody cared about the mob. Not everybody wanted to be linked to the mob. Some people really had morals, of not getting involved with those type of people, with dangerous folk, respectfully. I think if they really were a part of JFK's campaign and really even came out and said, oh, we support JFK, y'all need to vote for him, I don't think he would have even got in office. If anybody found out that they was involved in the campaign, I don't think he would have made it from senator to president. I think that it would have been too much scandal and or publicity on this senator mingling with the Mafia. A lot of people wouldn't trust that, I also don't believe that their hands were as dirty as a lot of people want to make it seem. Don't get me wrong. Sleeping with married women and cheating on your wife, in the process of that, sleeping with fast women, whatever you want to say, is dirty. And just because the father had dealings with the mob, it doesn't mean that the father is the same as JFK and or Robert, they not the same man. Who's to say that they would be doing the same things? Think about it. They were not their father. And let me tell you something about Mr. Joseph Kennedy Sr., okay? He didn't play. Very strict parent, very strict father. They probably couldn't stand him most of the time, but he was always on them to have excellent grades, to be a great father, to be there for your kids, to provide for your kids, have a big family. But JFK and Robert are not Joseph Kennedy. Their father did what he did, smuggling and whatnot, and had to make those deals to provide for his family, which he did. He provided for his very large family. But at one point, Kennedy Sr. had a chance for a brighter future. We all know this is how the generations go. And actually, it's supposed to go like that. You're supposed to be better than your father. And I would only hope and believe that both men would see it that way as well. Quite frankly, if you've heard stories about Kennedy Sr. ruling with an iron fist and being as though his family would know what he does, how he provides, he would want them to be better. And to me, they were scholars, hardworking men. And they died doing something that they loved doing. I don't think for sure that we'll ever know if the mob was even 50 or 25% involved. But if there are points where you are vulnerable, if there are openings for somebody to get you, they're going to get you. This has happened time and time again. And I think that it's much more scandal, of course, because it's a president and attorney general. But bottom line, we'll never know. Do I think they were involved? I think a lot of people were involved. A lot of people that's not going to say that they were involved. They're going to leave it to the rest of the world to speculate until the day they die. That's how it goes with things like this. It can cause an uproar that, the judicial system don't want. They don't want to have to prosecute more and more people for these things. They want to move on.